So I mean, not a dream, but a nightmare. So when I look back at it, it's like I was in a nightmare and I was sleeping and like it just it happened but it was like the whole entire thing was like a nightmare.
In the heyday of Washington's medical cannabis industry, it's estimated that there were over 3,000 access points for medical marijuana patients. The medical cannabis community was strong and its cottage-based economy was thriving. This allowed people from the cannabis community to earn a living from their work and turn their passion into an enterprise. For the first time, local and federal governments were able to get a realistic view of the wide popularity of cannabis and its potential for tax revenue. 2010, Breon Corbray launched Greenpeace Alternative Medicine and Education Collective, The Game. Like many Americans before him, his entrepreneurial spirit led him to dream of building a business that would secure his family's financial future while providing a value to his community. Opening the first location and quickly branching out to expand to 2 other locations.
They'd come, when I come here, they'd be lined up from the door, coming down this way. And just depends on how many they are, but they just keep on going and they just go around the corner or whatever, This was the parking lot would be full, People all in the front parking lot. It wasn't empty like this, it was full, Stayed like that all day.
I remember sitting behind the counter saying to myself, I could do this for the rest of my life.
You did look forward to going to work.
You look forward to going to work because you got to try all the different kinds.
And not only that, but just the interactions with the people for me is what I enjoyed, I enjoyed literally going to work because I knew that, people were going to come in, they're going to give me my stories, we were going to laugh, we were going to have fun, And the thing about it for us, like, we had people that came in that didn't have money, but because they were sick, they left with marijuana.
Because Breon, he always had that man, whatever I got, I'm going to just make sure you're good like you one of my sons. So that's why our relationship is still so good to this day, because he ain't never stirred me wrong. He's always gave me a place to stay, always put food in my mouth, and always gave me advice. And that's why I say we were raised differently. Our relationship from being 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, all through high school. Breon being all right there. Where my dad lacked, Breon and Pam stepped up.
You wonder if it's too good to be true, Wow, this is opportunity. Is this opportunity really for everybody? Even black people? So yeah, I mean, I don't think he ever really worried. He was like, we're do everything right. Follow all the rules, get all the paperwork, keep all the records. If you do it right, they can't do anything to us.
It was flawless. Our plan was flawless.
Yeah.
We had a plan, we stuck to the plan. We made sure that we followed all the rules.
Everything was professional.
People loved coming to our stores, and then we started making plans for the rec. We were all gonna have our stores. All I have our 3 stores from Everett all the way through Olympia. We were gonna have them just along the I-5 corridor, right off the freeways, so you didn't really have to go far if you were driving down the road, or if you're on your way home, you could stop by. I mean, we had it planned out.
To me, this was about generational wealth. When I understood it, I understood what was happening, and so I understood that if I got in it from the beginning, like everybody else, that my family and the families of my friends that were involved in this, we could create generational wealth for our families and be on top of an industry at the right time.
He always told us, man, have your own business. And here he was having his own business, legal, successful. Finally driving the car he always wanted to drive his whole life. It was his, he owned it. Living in a nice house, man. Marina View Drive, I'll never forget it. You go out in the backyard, man, the yard's big, the view's big. And he's feeding his family. He's not being selfish with it. He's feeding his employees. He's making sure his sons is cool, his daughters is cool. So you tell me, man, what could it really have been?
November 15th, 2011 was the day the Corbrays' nightmare began. That morning, they had no idea the ordeal that they were going to be forced to endure. The DA planned and executed a highly coordinated raid on all 3 of the game's dispensary locations, as well as the Corbrays' home. Armed federal agents stormed all 4 locations simultaneously. The game's patient files, computers, and financial records were all seized, along with Breon's personal assets.
When we first opened up, we invited the police. They came
we
into our
walked- we did a
store. They
couple
walked through our
walkthroughs.
store, all that stuff. You know, we had our licenses up, so it was all cool.
Really not thinking too much about that, thinking, well, you know, as long as he just keeps doing the right thing and just making sure he's above board and making sure he's got all his papers and making sure that he's following the law, then things are going to be good. Yeah. Until they banged on our door that day. And then the whole thing just came crashing down. Yeah, it was crazy. I was at home. And there's just like bang, 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 bang on the door, like really super loud. And I went and opened it up, and there's this freaking DEA with freaking all their weapons and all this shit. And they just grabbed my arms and pulled me outside and just said, "Is there anybody in the house? And are there any weapons in the house?" And, you know, and then they made me sit down right on the porch right there at the front door. And then they all walked in and searched the house. And I just sat out there until they told me I could get up. And then at some point I remember either Breon called me or I called something where I realized that they were everywhere. So the DEA was at all of the shops and at our house all at the same time, so that we couldn't let each other know, I suppose, it was their tactic. And then they just came in and they started going through the house. And they just went through everything. And I remember this one asshole, you know, they do that good cop, bad cop bullshit, you know, so they had this one guy who was super mean, and then this one guy going, "Oh, you know, we really don't want to leave you with nothing, you know, we know you have a family," you know, trying to get you to talk to him. And I'm like, fuck you, asshole.
We're having a conversation, and I look out the window, and I see like 10 cars, vroom, vroom, vroom,
But like,
right behind each
right
other.
behind
Yeah,
each other.
just zzz, like vroom.
I'm like, man, that's a lot of customers at
Like,
once.
what the
But
fuck is that?
they
Wow.
sure is kind of close together.
Yeah, like, you know, you just looking at them, and I go, well, shit, they must be in a hurry or something because they're all running towards the door. Let me go out here and, you know, so that, you know, that I can help them. Man, they come in the door. Next thing I see guns.
Yeah, we see
I
all
think
these
we get
DEA,
robbed. Like, oh shit, these motherfuckers got guns. You know, like I'm like thinking to myself, why would they want to come and rob us? This many white dudes.
And they cut the camera.
Yeah.
They cut the camera.
But
That's when I got scared. When they cut the camera.
I'm still
I was
thinking
like,
though.
uh-oh.
I'm literally still thinking that we getting robbed by 20 white dudes.
Yeah. When they cut the camera, I was like, they don't. Oh no, this is the big
And then
one,
they
you know?
pulled out this, and it didn't even look like a real badge. It looked like a fake badge.
We're about to die. That's what went through my mind, you know? Like I told you earlier, they cut the proof. Police want proof on everything. They want evidence on everything. Police don't cut off the proof unless they're trying to kill you. Look at the pattern.
So this was the window right here. This was the window right here. Okay, so that's the room we were in with having our meeting when they pulled up in the parking lot. So they're going, we see them from this window, of course, coming in the parking lot real fast. Boom, I mean, just like right behind each other in the parking lot. They just basically came running down this way, and they just came inside the door right there. And there were some people that were standing here too, because they were waiting for us to open the door. And so then when I opened the door, they just came busting in and told everybody else they had to, you know, the few people that were standing out there that they had to go. And they were asking them questions like, was he your drug dealer before you started this, and things like that, you know. It was crazy. And then they came in that door with their guns, ready to kill. You know, they were just, and they were antagonistic, you know, totally antagonistic, and because they wanted you to react so they could shoot you, you know, and it's crazy.
And then the dude said something like, "Ain't no niggas in charge here no more." And Terry said, "Hey man, you can't say that." And dude said, "We can say what we want and do what we want. We the government." Yeah. And Errol started shaking. Errol's 6'7". He used to play for Gonzaga, basketball player.
Yeah.
I'm serious. This was crazy. And when Terry told the press, they act like we were lying. This dude said, they didn't really say that to you guys. And so then you say to yourself, what's the point of arguing with somebody that's going to question you about something that somebody did to you and said to you?
Yeah, just leave it alone.
You just got to move on because you can't do anything about those people. But these people came in here and they were ready to kill us.
Yeah.
Listen, they let Marks sit on the couch while all the brothers are on the ground with their hands behind their head like this so that they don't get bullets put in their brain. It's hard to understand, you know, and then you go and say, what is this about? Like, why are you guys really doing this? I mean, there's all kind of collectives out there. Why are you guys coming in here like this? You know, like, serious.
Right.
You know, why are you guys coming in here like this? This is ridiculous.
Just family, man. That's all we was.
Like,
you know.
come on, man.
It's just family, man.
You guys are gonna kill us over,
Wasn't no reason.
you know, 3 pounds of weed in there? Really? And they kept going, where's the rest of it? Ripping our shit apart, just ripping it apart. And they gotta know there can't be nothing in there. It's freaking part of the counter. And they understand that if they come in with guns and all this way, it's surprised that it has 400 times more the effect on you than it is if they did it a different way, came in and like regular, sent you something in the mail, said, now you have to close down and do this and do, because they can do it that way.
So we're asking today, we're putting people on notice who we think are operating illegal businesses to begin to wrap down that business. You might notice we didn't come in with search warrants and battering rams and handcuffs. We're asking people to obey and respect Washington's law. And if they can't do it, and if they're still in business a month from now, they can expect to get a visit. But we're not using the criminal law. We're using the civil law in the first instance. If people continue to violate the law, then we may have no choice. We're asking people to respect Washington's law. And the equities which once favored a more flexible approach to patient access to medicine, those equities are gone. I expect that almost everybody here voted for 502, and my point to you, okay, then I'm wrong. We have a variety of civil remedies that we can employ before we employ criminal remedies. One of the civil remedies that Commissioner Hauge just mentioned is that the Liquor Cannabis Board will have the right to seize product that does not meet the state's seed to stem product. So that is something that a store could face potentially.
You are the mafia! The primary role of the Liquor Cannabis Board.
But they come in that way after they see that you have no gun permits, you have no guns. So they come in with overwhelming, a whole bunch of people with guns, and they study it. And
To get you mentally.
to get you mentally fucked up. It causes post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
That's what it causes.
Still
Because
scarred
that's
from
what
it.
it caused me for. I was like that for like 3 years.
Yeah, still scarred.
You know, so it does, and they understand that it causes 400 times more of the traumatic effect on you, on your system.
And then ain't no coming back when somebody holds a gun in your face. When
Yeah.
you stare down the barrel, that's something you remember for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you don't come back from that.
We understood that because of the color of our skin, that we would stick out and that they would be looking for us to do bad things or things that weren't within the rules. So we made sure that we followed those rules, and that's just something they can't say that we did. So again, they have to make up lies to make you look bad in order to bring you down. And again, our civil rights were violated in that room. You know, we were called niggas in that room. You know, in today's day and age, you got these people working for the federal government, and they're coming in to mess with you. They take down your cameras, call you a nigga basically, and tell you they can do what they want.
They went through everything in the house, in the garage, every drawer, everything, in the entire house. Took shit, just took computers and papers and money and whatever the hell they could find that they thought was suspect.
I was living with him at the time in which the feds came. It was horrible, man. We watch Breon, man, and he stays strong, but it's just like many nights, you know, just like, what the fuck, like, for real? Like, these people are really crooked, man. These people are really evil, man. These people really got malice for what I'm doing.
It was a violation of my civil rights, and it was a violation of my 10th Amendment rights. It was a violation of my right to the pursuit of happiness in this country like every other person. And they didn't care. They literally said, we the government, we can say and do what we want to. That's what those white boys told me that came in the door with those guns, literally ready to kill us.
Did it.
And did it.
It was just like a normal day, but then on the way home, my mom was like, by the way, all of our things are gone, and we don't have anything, and then kind of explained it to us, and it was just like, well, for me, I don't know where you were, but that was my car ride home from school, and then coming home to like my room turned upside down, and like all of our stuff gone, and me sitting there being like, well, where's Dad? And how am I supposed to do my homework if we don't have a computer? And where's the cars? I mean, I felt violated. I just remember being so angry that they handcuffed my mom and sat her in the front yard.
Yeah, that was
like, I remember being like, I don't give a shit what just happened. Like, that is not okay. Yeah. Like, you cannot make a spectacle of us and handcuff our mother who's done nothing, who you have nothing against. You don't know. She was in the middle of her day just going about, I don't know, doing whatever. And I just remember being like, I can't imagine having that happen to me in the middle of like my home and my community.
You got a good heart and a better soul. Feed my mind a lot, I guess the more you know. You got a good heart and a better soul. You've been on my block, so I can't let go. Said you got a good heart and a better soul. Even my mama know. Even my mama know I got a big heart and a wounded soul, but you pick me up from up off the floor. You got a good heart and a better soul. You feed my mind a lot, I guess the more you know. You got a good heart and a better soul. And a better soul. Down at the beach in my city, my coat on you and it's chilly. This weather I don't really feel it, as long as you're right here with me. Said this weather I don't really feel it, as long as you're right here with me.